Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dhanvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Hari Bol to all the devotees who facilitated the chanting this morning, starting with Shirai Prabhu, Ramchandra Prabhu, Vishwanath Prabhu, Pawan Prabhuji, and Meenakshi Mohini. Hari Hari Bol. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namine नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा वेलकम एवरीबॉडी हैप्पी एकादशी पर एकादशी टू ऑल ऑफ यू ओके वी विल कंटिन्यू. It's on this auspicious Tithi of Ekadashi with our prayers and reading from Sri Krishna book. Very grateful and thank you to Meenu Mataji for leading the forum yesterday while I was away. Okay, I posted the link in the chat. Thank you, Mataji, again. So let's continue. Anybody would like to sing the prayer today? Also sharing my screen. Is everybody able to see the screen share? Okay, I think so, right? Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so I will continue then. You can sing along while you're on mute. That way you can also practice. Okay. So first we are continuing with verse 7 of Shikshashtakam. Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravrashayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahiname. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. गाइते गाइते नाम की दशा होइलो कृष्ण नित्य दास मुई हृदये स्फुरिलो गाइते गाइते नाम की दशा होइलो कृष्ण नित्य दास मुई हृदये स्फुरिलो जानीला माया पाशे जड जगते गोविंद विरहे दुख पाई नानामते आरजे संसार मोर नाही लागे भालो कहा जाई कृष्णा हेरी ए चिंता विशालो कांदिते कांदिते मोर आँखी वारिशोय वर्षाधारा हिनो चक्षि होइलो दोय निमेषे होइलो मोर शतयुग साम गोविंद विरह आर सहिते अक्षाम शून्य धारा तल चौदी के देखिए परान उदास होए की कोरी स्थिर नाही होय जीवन नाही कोरोय ब्रजवासी गण मोरा प्राण राखो देखाओ श्री राधा नाथे भक्ति विनोद मिनति मानिया लाओ हेता हारे साथे श्री कृष्ण विरह आर सहिते ना पारी परान छाड़िते आर दिन दुई चारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय। श्री शिक्षाष्टकम की जय। श्री गीतावली की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, anybody would like to read the translation? Nobody would like to read the translation today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I can read.
Yes, Meena Mataji. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. What was my condition after repeatedly chanting the holy name? The realization, I am the eternal servant of Krishna, spontaneously became manifest within my heart. I realized that I was ensnared in the noose of Maya's illusion, being trapped within this dull mundane universe, and that I simply experienced misery in various ways due to separation from Lord Govinda. Furthermore, I realized that I do not like this worldly existence. Where can I go to see Krishna? This was my great anxiety. Crying and crying, tears poured from my eyes, appearing just like torrents of rains in the monsoon season. Unable to bear separation from Lord Govinda any longer, for me the passing of a moment became like 100 long ages. As I look about in all directions, the surface of the earth appears to be void, and my very life breath feels empty. What am I doing? What am I doing? I do not feel at all tranquil, and the life within my body is slipping away. O residents of Brajadhama, please save my life and show me the Lord of Sri Radha. Oh, please consider the prayers of this Bhakti Vinoda and take him into his company. I am unable to further tolerate the separation from my Lord Krishna, and I'm ready to give up my life in 2 days or 4. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anything you want to share from this any reflections from this prayer?
Um, yeah, the realization that I am the eternal servant of Krishna, and you know, there are a couple stories that come to my mind as I read this about the mood of Rama and Lakshman and Hanumanji. One day, Ram told Hanumanji that you are like dear to me as Lakshman. Even in Hanuman Chalisa, he says, "Tum mam priya bharat hi sambhai." And he was telling he was telling Hanumana that you're like my Lakshman to me, and Lakshman is also standing right there. And Hanumanji said, Prabhu, you just proved that how dear Lakshman is to you. Right? When we compare someone, we say our friends are like family. That means our family is very dear to us. So if we say you are this Lord is equal to me to this Lord, so that means that Lord is the one is dear to us. So he tells Hanuman, you're dear to me like Lakshman. So Hanumanji, gets back and he's like, no, Lakshman is more dear to you. That's why you're comparing me. That's why the comparison came. So Lakshman says, no, Prabhu, look, it took me so many years. I was in company of Sita Ma. She's been in our family for so many years. Yet she did not trust me. Yet she doubted me when the Lanka Lakshman Rekha episode happened. He said, but when Hanuman went to her in Ashok Vatika, she trusted him within seconds. So obviously Hanuman is a bigger devotee and more dear to you and more pure. And then Lakshman also says, he says, I am Anant Shesh. I am the one, because they're both Vishnu Tattva. He says, I am Anant Shesh, and you sit on me, right? I am your seat as Narayana. But look at Hanuman. So I carry you, but Hanuman carried not only me, but he carried the one I carry. When he put him on his shoulders and they were going in Kishkanda to go see Sugriv, Hanumanji put them both on each shoulder and carried them over that mountain. So who is bigger? So Lakshmanji proved that Bhakta is bigger than Bhagwan himself. So the devotion, the mood of devotion, the purity. So the things to learn from Hanuman is, humility, the courage that Hanumanji has, the knowledge, even though he had all that knowledge, he surrendered. The discipline he had while serving, when he went to Lanka and he looked at everybody, he looked around Ravan, he's surrounded by 12,000 women, you know, the discipline and the celibacy mood that he served at that point, his only aim was to find Sita Ma. So that's the one-minded devotion we need to have to feel even the bhav of separation from Lord. So that's what my thoughts are today, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Yes, and that mood comes when we sincerely serve, do service selflessly as Hanumanji, right, as he did. So, yeah, and then the exchange between the devotees is always that I am lower. My service is lower as compared to other devotees' service. So that mode of humility has to be there. And yeah, when we have that, then we can advance on the path of bhakti. Otherwise, we become stagnant, or we may even fall down. And what to speak of coming to the stage of bhava, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking about in this prayer, right? That is advancement. So not just having initiation is not sufficient. Like I shared yesterday, we have to progress, taking shelter of a guru, getting initiated, performing service. That is all good, but the most important stage is to seek spiritual advancement through a pure devotee. And that only comes when we have the mode of humility, mode of service, selfless service. And mode of humility means, like we said, like you were explaining through the example of Lakshman and Hanumanji, both of them are glorifying each other's service to the Lord, right? Not considering their service as bigger, but being an instrument in the service of the Lord and his devotees. So that is the mood with which we will continue reading chapter 8. So yesterday, Minwata, you mentioned to me, we read up to this point. So yeah, I was there for the first few minutes. I saw the title of the chapter was Vision of the Universal Form. And yeah, I was, while I was in the flight yesterday at that time, I was seeing, and it almost felt like, yes, when you are in the top in the sky, you can actually feel the vision of the universal form, where you feel like you're just like a tiny insect, like the flight is flying in the sky, but it is really the Lord's body that we are flying in. And you see the dark, when you see the bluish haze in the sky, and also the reddish tone when the sun is about to rise. And then when you look down, you see the rivers and the mountains. And I was flying through on Baltimore, and then coming to Charlotte, yes, the green vegetation down, the water, everything felt, yes, and exactly like what was described. And I read the chapter yesterday, last night, up to what you all read. Yes, that is that vision. Again, we get when we associate with pure devotees. And as Nanda Maharaj was glorifying Garga Muni, who had come to give the Naam, right? So the devotees, again, like you just rightly said, the devotees are more bigger than the Lord, because the devotees help us connect with the Lord through the holy name. And Garga Muni did the purificatory process and the name giving ceremony for both Krishna and Balaram yesterday. So, and I think Aarti Mataji was reading yesterday. So her two sons are also Krishna and Balaram. So Jai Ho. Okay, so let's continue chapter 8. We are reading from here. Anybody else would like to read today? Geeta Mataji.
I can read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
While Mother Yashoda was thinking in this high philosophical way, Lord Krishna again expanded his internal energy just to be wilder her with maternal affection. Immediately, Mother Yashoda forgot all philosophical speculation and accepted Krishna as her own child. She took him on her lap and became overwhelmed with maternal affection. She thus began to think of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, who is understood through the process of cultivating knowledge derived from the Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra, practicing mystic yoga, and studying Sankhya philosophy as her own begotten child. Certainly, Mother Yashoda had executed many pious activities, as a result of which she got the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, as her son, who sucked milk from her breast. Similarly, Nanda Maharaj also must have performed many great sacrifices and pious activities for the Lord Krishna to become his son and address him as the father. But it is surprising that Vasudeva and Devaki did not enjoy the transcendental bliss of Krishna's childhood pastime, although Krishna was their real son. The childhood pastimes of Krishna are glorified even today by many sages and saintly persons. But Vasudeva and Devaki could not enjoy such childhood pastimes personally. The reason for this was explained by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikita as follows. When the best of the Basus named Drona and his wife Dhara were ordered to increase progeny by the Lord Brahma, they said unto him, Dear father, we are seeking your benediction. When we take path again within the universe, may the Supreme Lord Krishna, in his most attractive features of childhood, observe our whole attention. May our dealings with him to be so powerful that simply by hearing of these childhood activities of his, and anyone will very easily cross over the nations of the birth and death. Lord Brahma agreed to give them the benedictions. As a result, same Drona appeared as the Nanda Maharaj in the Vrindavan, and the same Dhara appeared as the mother Yashoda, the wife of Nanda Maharaj. In this way, Nanda Maharaj and his wife, Mother Yashoda, developed their unalloyed devotions for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Having begotten him as their son, and all the gopis and cowherd men who were associates of Krishna naturally developed their own different feelings of the love for the Krishna. Therefore, just to fulfill the benedictions of the Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna appeared along with his plenary expansions Balaram and performed all kinds of childhood pastimes in order to increase the transcendental pleasure of all the residents of the Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of each chapter of Krishna vision for the universal form. Hare Krishna.
You can continue with chapter 9, Mataji. Yes.
Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. Once upon a time, seeing that her maidservant was engaged in different household duties, Mother Yashoda personally took charge of churning butter, churning butter. And while she churned butter, the sang the childhood pastimes of Krishna and enjoyed thinking of her son. The end of her sari was tightly wrapped while churned, and on account of the intense love for her son, milk automatically dripped from her waist, which moved as she labored very hard, churning with two hands. The bangles and the bracelets on her hands tinkled as they touched each other, and her earrings and wrist shook. So there are drop of perceptions on her face and the flower garland which was on her head scattered her here and there. Before these pictures were sight, Lord Krishna appeared as a child. He felt hungry, and to increase his mother's love, he wanted her to stop churning. He indicated that her first business was to let him suck her breast, and then she could chew butter later. Mother Yashoda took her son on her lap and pushed the nipple of her breast into his mouth. And while Krishna was sucking the milk, she was smiling, enjoying the beauty of her child's face. And suddenly, the milk was on the stove began to boil over. Just to stop the milk from the spilling, Mother Yashoda at once put Krishna aside and went to the stove. Left in that state by his mother, Krishna became very angry, and his lips and eyes became red in rage. He pressed his teeth and lips, and taking off a piece of stone, he immediately broke the butter pot. He took butter out of it, and with the forced tears in his eyes, he began to eat the butter in a secluded place. In the meantime, Mother Yashoda returned to the chilling place after setting the overflowing milk pan in the order. She saw the broken pot in which churning yogurt had been kept. Since she could not find her boy, she concluded that the broken pot was his work. She smiled as she thought the child is very clever. After breaking the pot, he has left this place fearing punishment. After she sought all over, she found her son sitting on a big wooden grinding mortar and which was kept upside down. He was taking water from a pot and which was hanging from the ceiling on a swing. And he was feeding it to his naughty behavior. After seeing her son so
To the
engaged,
monkeys. He was feeding it to the
oh,
monkeys.
oh sorry, she's feeding to the monkeys. She saw looking this way and that the way in fear of her because he was conscious of his naughty behavior. After seeing her son to in, son so engaged, she very silently approached him from behind. Krishna, however, saw her coming toward him with a stick in her hand, and he immediately got down from the grinding mortar and began to flee in fear. Mother Yashoda chased him to all corners, trying to capture the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, who is never approached even by the meditations of the great yogis. In other words, Supreme Personality of the Godhead Krishna, who is never caught by the yogis and speculators, was playing just like a little child for such a great devotee as Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda, however, could not easily catch the fast running child because of her thin waist and heavy body. Still, she tried to follow him as fast as possible. Her hair loosened and the flowers in her hair fell to the ground. Although she was tired, she somehow reached her naughty child and captured him. When he was caught, Krishna was almost on the point of the crying. He smeared his hands over and his eyes, which were ironed with the black eye cosmetics. The child saw his mother's face while she stood over him, and his eyes became the restless from the fear. Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna was unnecessarily afraid, and for his benefit, she wanted to allay his fears. Being the topmost well wishers of her child, Mother Yashoda thought if the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. Mother Yashoda then threw away her sticks in order to punish him. She thought to bind his hands with some ropes. She didn't know it, but it was actually impossible for her to find the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Mother Yashoda was thinking that Krishna was a teeny child, so she did not know that the child had no limitation. There is no inside or outside of him, and no beginning on end. He is unlimited and all-pervading. Indeed, he is himself the whole cosmic manifestation. Still, Mother Yashoda was thinking of Krishna of her child. Although he is beyond the reach of all senses, she endeavored to bind him to wooden grinding mortar. But see, when she tried to bind him, she found that the rope she was using was too short by 2 inches. She gathered more ropes from the house and added to it, but still she found the same shortage. In this way, she connected all the ropes available at home. But when the final knot was added, she saw that the rope was still 2 inches too short. Mother Yashoda was smiling, but she was astonished. How was it is happening? In attempting to bind her son, she became tired. She was perspiring, and the garland on her head fell down. The Lord Krishna appreciated the hard labor of his mother and being compensated upon her. He agreed to be bound off by the ropes. Krishna playing as a human child in the house of Mother Yashoda, was performing his own selected pastime. Of course, no one can control the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. The pure devotee surrender himself onto the lotus feet of the Lord, who may either protect or vanquish the devotee. But for his part, the devotee never forgets his own position of surrender. Similarly, the Lord also feels transcendental pleasures by submitting himself to the protection of the devotee. This was exemplified by Krishna's surrender unto his mother Yashoda. Krishna is the supreme bestower of all kinds of liberations to his devotees, but the benedictions of which was bestowed upon Mother Yashoda was never experienced even by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva or the goddess of the fortune. The Supreme Personality of the Godhead, who is known as the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, is never so completely known to the yogis and the speculators, but he is easily available to his devotees, nor is he appreciated as the supreme reservoir of all the pleasure by the yogis and the speculators. After binding her son, Mother Yashoda engaged herself in the household affairs. At that time, bound up that the wooden mortar, Krishna would see a pair of trees before him, which were known as Arjuna trees. The great reservoirs of the pleasure, Lord Sri Krishna thus thought to himself, Mother Yashoda, first of all, left without feeding me sufficient milk. Therefore, I broke the pot of the yogurt and distributed the stuck water in the charity to the monkeys. Now she was bound me to be a wooden mortar. So I shall do something more mischievous than before. So, and thus he thought of pulling down the two very tall Arjuna trees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji. We'll
Krishna.
pause here.
Mm.
Yes. Anything you want to share that you liked from today's reading, Mataji? Any reflections?
Uh, एक बात तो है, because Krishna always tried to realize Yashoda that he is the supreme personality of the God. But
Mhm.
at the same time, Krishna also make such activities that Mother Yashoda always feel that see, he is just my child. He's my son. And
Mhm.
Krishna tried to involve them that बोलते हैं ना माया के जाल में उनको फंसा रहे थे.
Mhm.
पर बीच बीच में उनको ये भी रियलाइज करते थे that I am the supreme of the God.
Mhm.
So mother Yashoda को always make them confusion. वो क्या है? वही इनका बाला था.
Yes. Yes, Mother Yashoda, of course, like we read here, we're reading, it is not very easy, right? Yogis and speculators, yogis, gyanis, they cannot understand the Lord. Nobody can understand the Lord in full, right? Only until the Lord wishes to reveal Himself to His devotees, and so that is why, yeah. But like the title of the chapter was Mother Yashoda binds Krishna, right? So how Acharya Samjata Acharyas explain that, how she binds, how a devotee binds Krishna, right? They are only able to bind Krishna through their pure love, right? So that is what we are trying to achieve, like through these prayers that we are reading from Shiksha Ashtakam, through Bhaktivinoda Thakur, going from Shraddha to Prema, right? That is the journey that we are all on. So from initial faith that we have, some initial faith is needed to be on this path, right? And then from that, when we have that faith, then the Lord sees that, okay, yes, here is somebody who's interested in me genuinely, sincerely. Then He sends a devotee in our lives, a pure devotee, like a sadhu, a guru, who can then enlighten us, right? Just as Gargamuni came yesterday, and Nanda Maharaj was telling him that, sadhus, you are pure, best of beer or best of brahmanas, you have come to enlighten us, because otherwise we are householders. We have forgotten that our goal is self-realization, but because we are so busy in the monotonous day-to-day routine that we forget. And that happens, we can see practically, right? If you don't practice every day, if you leave, even if you don't do your japa for 2-3 days, suddenly you will not have inclination to do it, or you may have some remorse, and then again so unless you do something consistently, it doesn't become natural. So that is the reason why pure devotees come into our life, because that's the mercy of the Lord. And that is how Mother Yashoda was able to bind, because she is a pure devotee, so she is able to bind Krishna with the love. Otherwise Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like you're saying, Krishna ko kaun baandh sakta hai? Nobody can capture Krishna, but his devotees, they can capture him through the rope of love, and Krishna agrees to be captured by that rope of his devotees. But even that, like we said, we were reading Acharya Samjata, when Mother Yashoda was trying to bind him, he was trying to play tricks, right? And he was not being bound initially, right? So the rope was always 2 inches short, 2 fingers short. Every time she added more ropes, and still he was not able to be bound, right? So there he was showing that other face where you were talking about, like even though he loves his devotees, but he also shows them that I'm not so easy to be captured, right? So that the acharyas explain, those 2 fingers are, that 2 fingers short is basically our, anybody wants to say what are the 2 fingers? One is what? First finger is what? And second finger is what?
Faith. Hare
Our
Krishna.
faith. Yes, our faith. Sorry. Our endeavor. Yes, our endeavor. And then what is the second finger short?
Mercy from the Lord.
Yes, so that is what acharyas explain, that we have to be persistent, we have to endeavor with faith, endeavor with determination, like Rupa Goswami says, right? We have to have enthusiasm and determination, right? And then we need to have patience, right? So all of that is kind of the first finger, right? We have to endeavor. That is our endeavor to please the Lord, right? And then, but still the second finger short is the kripa, right? So like we say, we have to do bhakti with bhav, right? If you have to, अगर हमें ये भव सागर से क्रॉस होना है, तो हमें भाव से भक्ति करनी है, right? Because that is all Krishna wants. He wants only our pure love and devotion. He doesn't want our money, our riches, our name, fame, our position, what all. I mean, these are all things that we have got because of some piety that we have committed in our previous lives, right? So what can we give him? Everything belongs to the Lord, so we cannot give him anything. But if we just sincerely, with love, and exchange our feelings with the Lord in any of those rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya ras, then yes, that is what the Lord is looking for. And when we do that, then the kripa comes. So भाव किस भाव से भक्ति करना है, तब प्रभु की कृपा मिलती है. कृपा का खेल है, जैसे हम कहते हैं, भाव की भक्ति है और कृपा का खेल है. So yes, so those are the 2 fingers short. Yes, thank you Mataji for sharing that. Anybody else would like to say anything? Okay, we are also doing our remembrance of the Lord, right? So that is also, we think about this. This is kind of our austerity. So we have been thinking about tapas chasmi, tapas vishu until last week, which is austerities and penances that we do. So it is also like this, the remembrance that we are doing, remembering the Lord, because this is kind of an austerity, this is kind of a penance. Why it is a penance? Because we have forgotten our eternal identity, as Minu Mataji was saying, that we are eternal servants of the Lord, right? So we have forgotten that, and when we forget, and now we remember, or we have been enlightened by our Guru Parampara, by Srila Prabhupada, by reading these books, by following their instructions. We have actually remembered, who we are and what our constitutional position is, to serve the Lord. So now we are actually trying to remember the Lord. So kind of we are doing penance. Penance is what? Penance is, correcting our previous actions, that we had forgotten the Lord. So now we are actually correcting our behavior. So by remembering the Lord through all of these different aspects, as he says in Bhagavad Gita, as it's a taste of water, as the light of sun and moon, as the syllable Om, as a sound in ether, as the ability in man, right, as the pure, beautiful fragrance of Mother Earth, etc., etc. All of these that we have been reading. So now we are trying to remember the Lord. This kind of penance that we are doing, right? Because we had forgotten earlier. Now we are trying to remember the Lord. So this is also penance. So we have been all doing this for the last 9-10 weeks. So this was nice. So we can remember that. Yesterday, Nanda Maharaj also was saying that when Garga Muni came, he had performed so many austerities and penances, right? So when we read like these things, small things, we can remember the Lord. And that is also our tapas, chasmi, tapas vishu. And when we remember the Lord, we back it up by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we chant a Mahamantra when we remember the Lord. That is the best combination to always remember the Lord. Prabhupada says, if you want to remember the Lord, just keep chanting. That was one of his very powerful instructions. So when we remember the Lord through these aspects, we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, so this week we'll continue with verse 7.10, where Krishna, similar to previous verse where he says Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu, he says Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam, that I am the seed of all living entities. So everything comes from the Lord. All the living entities that we see, both moving and non-moving, like the trees and plants are non-moving, and everything else that is moving, which has 2 legs or 3 legs or 4 legs or unlimited legs. All the living entities are coming from the Lord. So we can see Lord's presence when we see these living entities. So let's do that and continue to share our reflections. If you're not able to share here on the call, continue to share on the WhatsApp, our group, reading group, so that we can take inspiration from each other. And always remember, I still remember things that other devotees shared in terms of how they remember the Lord while they are on the checkout lane, like Anandi Mataji was sharing, right? When Aarti Mataji was sharing how her kids were playing in the sand, right? So as the fragrance of earth, right? So when we share, it helps me also remember, it helps all of us remember different aspects in how we can remember the Lord. So continue to share your personal realizations and reflections in the WhatsApp group also. Okay, so with that, let's pause here at 6:39, so that we can all go on with the rest of our day and trying to make an sincere attempt to remember the Lord as we go through our day also, so that way our days can be more beautiful. Okay, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo. Hari
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.